All right, hey everyone. Let me mute this. Here we go. And add people from the waiting room. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here.
Fair enough. Good. Yeah. Where are you out of?
We're well, near London. We're
Okay.
30 miles outside London, UK.
Good morning, gentlemen, or good morning and good afternoon, guy.
Thank you.
Right.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, John. Hope everyone's doing well. We're having quite a cold storm here in Texas. Doing well. Hope everyone's, like I said, staying warm and safe. Anyway, let me check my email. Sorry, who was it that wrote me?
Joe, I'm not familiar with the format of these calls, so maybe you could let me know when to chime in or not.
Go ahead and chime in right now.
No, okay.
Go for it. Yeah, we just basically ask for anyone who what they're working on and what they want help with. So,
okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay. So briefly, I'm a photographer with an engineering background. My main issue at the moment is just automating the studio so I can work efficiently and take out the mundane so I can concentrate on the creative, which is where the value added is in my business.
Can I get an amen? Yeah.
And my biggest issue is I have very niche programs that are out there on the market which I use, which is number one, my CRM, and number one, my in-person sales software, and they don't communicate with each other. So most of the automation I'm doing is basically sending a data between the two of them via various forms of screen captures and that kind of stuff. So far so good. The main issue I have at the moment, one of the challenges is my CRM accepts incoming emails. HTML emails are fine. Sorry, plain text emails are fine, but when it receives an HTML email, it turns it into the plain text code that I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was basically a PayPal invoice to be paid. So I've got to dig through that code just to find out where the button is to push it. Then I've got to copy that code, paste it into a browser and wait for the browser to bring up. So my thought was, if there is an easy way of taking, I believe, I'm not sure of the format that I sent you, what it is, but that's what I see on the screen. I can copy that into my clipboard. Is there any way I can take that and dump it into a browser so I can look at it in its full color glory, Technicolor glory?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, inside it, there's some personal information and stuff. So I didn't want to be sharing that file, on this call just because it's just.
Well, listen, if people want to go out there and pay my invoice for me, they're more than welcome.
Yeah, no. Oh, also, I was going to say, let's just take a step back, just so because I don't know how familiar you are with this. It's a very common thing, regardless of how large your company is, right? Like, I mean, it's amazing how many tools don't talk to each other, people are manually doing stuff, and so kudos to you for trying to find a way to help automate it. The file you sent to me, so it's a plain text file, at least the extension's .txt, and it's text, but you can see there's a blend of HTML in it as well as text, which is interesting. What I would do, so let me share my.
This is a copy of what my CRM dumps out, and I've saved it to a text file.
Okay, well that helps explain a little bit of it. And let me see here. I'm going to grab a little bit of it, just, and I'll bring it over. So it's nothing
Yeah, I mean, there's a main element there. Apart from the links to the graphics, there is a link to a button that actually, if you copy it, will bring up the web browser with the basically it'll take me to the web version of that invoice.
Gotcha. Right. So here's a little snippet from part of what you sent, right? With nothing that's private, but just so people have an idea of what's going on.
Okay.
What I would consider a couple things. The first one is what I always encourage people to do is to say, hey, is there actually a better way to get this information instead of dealing with it? Now, let's skip that conversation for now, but I did want to bring it up because PayPal has an API, that you can interact with, which is, significantly more advanced to deal with, but it allows you to programmatically do a lot of stuff that it might be a better long-term solution for you, but let's not worry about that right now, right?
Well, thinking outside the box, you're right. Rather than trying to, is the text you see 100% plain text format, or has a CRM adulterated it into its own version?
Yeah, I think it's because the first thing I was going to point out was, but let me continue on and I'll explain why I think it is what it is, and that you're going to have to make some tweaks. So I have a hotkey here. I'm trying to look. Is it that one? No, this what? Why is that?
So my thought is, rather than trying to convert this into an HTML, have some kind of code that will go through and look for the buttons or the links that are not JPEGs that are, and just say, look, on this text, these are the buttons that exist. Which one do you want to press?
Yeah, and that's so. With that, we could do some not simple things. We could do simple things, looping over the text, looking for specific text that would help identify it, and then say, okay, grab around it. Generally speaking, hold on one second here. Guys, come on. I'm gonna kill him. Quiet the whole time, and then I think because I'm not paying attention, they hitting themselves. Anyway, so then there's a regular expression. Have you played with those?
This is the first time I've tried to copy it today, and I thought, if this, I did not know if this was plain text, and I thought, if this is bog standard plain text, then I'm sure someone out there has got a library or a function to deal with this, because rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, I thought, well, if I bounce it off you, then I thought, oh my God, it's Friday, and there's a support call. So
right. So getting back in a regular expression, it does pattern matching, right?
Yes, I'm familiar.
And so, good. So that is what I would probably quickly use if we took the solution that you suggested of like, hey, maybe I don't want to render the entire thing, convert it all to HTML, and then view all the buttons. Maybe I just want to find the one I want and just grab it, right? And so that would be my first go-to is to say, and maybe because like I said, we really have to be viewing that text and doing all the stuff in order to work on the regular expression itself. But we can keep it a high level here and say that would be one approach. But what I wanted to show you was how simple it would be to also render this, for you. So
okay, well, that's what I wanted to know, because if there's a simple solution, the render would be a prettier solution.
Right. And for some reason, let me close some stuff. Let me stop sharing too and see if that in any way helps. This is interesting, John. Even QAP, like my hotkey for that, as well as my normal menus, nothing is working. Weird. What in the world? Oh, there we go. That was interesting. So for some reason, when Studio was active, let me go ahead and shut it down. Nothing was working. Right. I've had weird issues like that with programs interfering with each other without rhyme or reason. Right, that's right.
As well.
Right. And that can happen is that they have a similar hotkey. I just know because I use this all the time, right? That Studio doesn't, because I'm in here a lot. So Oh, now we're working fine. So this is just gonna launch my web scraping syntax writer, right? Which you can get if you go to web scraping on the Automator, you'll find a place to download it. So now that I've launched it, I have a different hotkey. I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna go to miscellaneous and say display HTML without saving it to a file, right?
Yep.
So this is a syntax writer. So this is what actually gave me that template I emailed back to you. That's why it was so easy for me, right?
Yeah.
Here, and I don't know if you know this, if you're dealing with text that has double quotes and stuff in it, now this won't work in version 2 of AutoHotkey, but version 1 is perfectly fine.
I'm working in version 1.
Okay, good. So this avoids me from doing a colon equals and then having to escape all the double quotes.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same thing. So this shoves this thing into this variable, and then here it's a little complicated, but IE by default will like try to launch at version 7 or something, a really old version, and it can cause some problems with certain HTML. So we store it, and then we launch an ActiveX window, and we fix VR. So this is updating it to the version 11 instead of version like 7 or whatever it is. Yep. And then we navigate to it, and we set, and this is where that HTML variable, which we used up here, comes back into play. And then we say show, right? So if I save this.
Okay, I've got a couple of queries. When I tried to compile this, I had to put the function. I had to put it in quotes because it says calling to an what you call it thingy function. It didn't recognize the function.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and this fix IE, sorry, it is a function that's on my computer. So I'm just leveraging it. That's a good point. I should probably add that into here, just because it's a template I do give to people.
So I didn't have fix IE, and it says what's fix IE.
Yeah, sure, and you can just comment it out, right? It should, for this purpose, it'll work just fine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna save it, reload it, and run it, and so we're viewing. This is the thumbnail HTML. To. And so you could easily take your text that you get, shove it into a variable, and then display it, right? Like that's how simple it would be to just display it.
It's not HTML, so would it display?
Well, but it should work pretty well because a lot of it is. And when I do, let me see here. When I do my newsletter, so here you'll see it is HTML, but I could have some plain text in here and it would still show up, display, right? If it's not wrapped, it won't look pretty. Don't get me wrong, but if I remember correctly, I think it still displays.
Okay.
Actually, we can test it. I'm gonna copy the path to this. Let's paste. So here is that newsletter, and then we're going to say, so I'm going to save that and refresh. Oh, there it is. So see how just a test is at the top. So it can handle, for lack of a better term, having just text in there. So it should display okay. Right? I'm not getting any of this to work at the moment. So I've got nothing's. I've got it as a hotkey. I have put a semicolon in front of the line fix IE, and a semicolon in front of the line VER equals. Why don't you share your screen? I just stop sharing and go ahead and share your screen.
Absolutely, we can do that. Let me just run this. No, okay. So I want to. Have you given me permission to share my screen?
I don't have to.
Okay.
That's a meeting by meeting thing, and I don't.
Okay.
Require.
So I want to share screen. Are you seeing anything?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your code here. I've put it on a hotkey. I have quoted that out. Is this correct now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so let me start it. Okay, and hit the button, and I get that out to HTML. Just to clarify, capitalization of variables in hotkey does it matter or not?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. So it's running now, and I hit my key, and every time I hit my hotkey, I get that.
Well, hold on. Let me go back to mine and see.
Maybe there's something missing.
It doesn't. To me, it looks just fine.
I think there might be a line missing somewhere. Just double check your code.
You have the HTML, and then the.
I can take that across to there. You can only see my main screen. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just
fix, navigate, while, sleep. No, you have all the lines. Let me do this. Let me comment my fix IE out.
Okay, and then send it to me via the chat, and I will.
No, I'm going to run it. I'm just saying. So I just commented mine out and ran it, and it ran just fine.
Okay, do me a favor. Copy your code into the chat, and I'll copy and paste it into mine.
Yeah, and then anyone on the Zoom call, if they're interested, can grab it.
Okay, so if I copy all that and I replace it just verbatim with that, now I know I've got your code, right? So if it runs on your machine, it should run on my machine. There it is. Look, it's there. If I save this and relaunch it, okay.
So apparently something was.
I still get the same error. But yes, then I get
One thing that pops in my head is are there actual line? No, 1702. It's not any line breaks. I can see that now.
No, there's wraps. Those are wraps.
Yeah.
So your the screen comes up, but it's empty.
But didn't it? Sorry, I'm confused. I thought it worked fine at first.
No, it never did work. So with your code now, I get that screen with the error screen. And when I click OK, nothing happens.
So the two things I would suggest and try is first off, what version of AutoHotkey are you running? And are you running 32-bit or 64-bit? Do you know?
32-bit.
Yep.
32-bit.
And then do you know what if you double click on your script?
Oh, there we go. So when I rerun the code, I get the error, and then I get a blank render screen. If I close the render screen and I do it again, I got the error with no render screen. So it seems to only work for the first time, but not for the second. The code I'm running is 1.133.1.
Okay, that's plenty new. Well, the other thing I would say, just because and again, this is a really good example of, how you troubleshoot stuff, right? Even though what you're doing should be fine, that you're using it inside of a main script, what I would do is take that same code and put it as its own file. Let's isolate that as to make sure that's not some sort of issue.
That is easily done. Let's do that. Take that out. So if we just go to new and dump it in there, is that correct? When we save it as HTML test. Okay, there we go. It's saved as HTML text. Now I've got to run it, haven't I? Is there a short key to run it from here?
Alt-R. Yeah.
No.
Oh, you know what? That might No, I think that's a built-in one, but you can go up to
Oh yes, Altar's working. Altar's working.
Okay, good.
Okay, it's running. So let's nail it. No, it doesn't help. That's what you get. And up comes.
Well, let me throw in the fix IE, just in case.
Yeah, sure.
Because no, see, the weird part is you're running my HTML, so I could see how if it was your HTML, that maybe there's something in there that's causing it to have an error.
Correct.
But if you're running my HTML, it works on mine. Why doesn't it work on yours? The only other thing I can think of is to make sure that we're using Unicode. But if you're using Studio, it uses by default UTF-8 encoding, so that's not an issue either.
Okay. I must say thank you. Most of my Alt-Hotkey learning has come from your programs.
Oh, awesome.
And your videos. You know, I'm dangerous. I know enough to know what I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And I know what is possible, but not necessarily how to achieve it. So you're going to dump fix IE into
I did.
Into chat.
I believe I did.
Okay, let me copy that. Yes, you did.
Yeah, and you just put in that same file is fine, and then just re-enable it.
I've just got to do a cut and paste. Save it and then reload it.
Yep.
There we go. Done. Okay. Oops. So what I get out, we got to uncomment out the
right. 12 and 14.
Do I need the tilde there?
No. Yeah, actually I don't know what Studio's built-in hotkey, because I do change that one, but there's a hotkey for toggling that on and off.
Okay. Right, so everything is saved, and I've reloaded the script. I don't know why it's thrown in this letter. Let's try this again. Okay, hit hotkey. Yay, no error. Might get a blank.
Do you have access to, can you take that URL of the on line 8, the href, and just make sure you can navigate?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what am I doing? That, is that correct?
Yeah.
So much stuff on here.
You can't expect your team to manage one.
That works.
Yeah. So what, anyone have any idea? The only other thing I can say is let's do Alt-M.
Alt-M?
Yeah, that'll bring up the OmniSearch, and then type run, and then let's make sure we choose the 32-bit, run 32-bit as 32.
Yeah, okay.
Just to make sure, right? Yep. And then try your hotkey again.
Nope.
All right, let's
just spotted something.
What's that?
This is, I sometimes get Studio throwing in spurious characters in there.
That's interesting. I would, just
let me try this again. I think this should
be good catch.
No. Okay, let me just have a quick look on the code. No, there's nothing else spurious going on there. I think it was something to do with the copy and paste from the from Zoom. Yay, that's it. Yeah. It's spurious characters appearing from the copy and paste on Zoom.
Interesting. So anyway, so
it's working.
This is rendering, the HTML, and it can render, I'm not going to say any HTML, but you can see how easy it is, right? To just display it. And very simply, like on line 13, I'm telling it the width of 250 and height of 200, but obviously you
can change that. Yeah.
You can change that. But it's what's cool, I love about this also is it doesn't require you to save it as a file. So if you're getting it from some program as a variable, you never have to save it. So you don't
Now,
have to.
if there's a link on it, can I click on it?
Yeah, right. Yes.
Okay. So
which is what I thought of was initially with what you were doing was it's a really simple way to just display it and click and you're good to go.
Well, if I do a shortcut here and I put clipboard, sorry, HTML equals clipboard.
Good for you, right?
And then whenever I activate this, whatever's in clipboard, it'll display.
Right.
Right. So what I'm going to do is, because of the privacy of this, I'm going to turn my screen share off.
Cool.
And see what happens. Okay. So stop the share. Okay. Now, so I'm going to go to my my clipboard and select the Control C. I've selected the plain text, and then I've hit. Now I got an error, and the error I was told the same variable cannot be used as.
Well, just so
on line 13.
Reload your script. Yeah, that honestly, it exit the script or reload it. It has to do with the GUI, which we can blank it out after it's displayed.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I should add that template because that is something that.
So this is what I get. This is what I get, and to be honest with you, I'm happy to share the screen.
Okay, well, as long as it's fine. Yeah, just I didn't study. Yeah, what was there, and I've had it where
people are going to do is be able to pay my invoice. There's no login information there. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I share my screen again, yeah, there you go, my main screen. Can you see it worked? It popped up the text, but this is what I get. It's all text. There's no.
Okay, so I had a consideration. This might be a problem. So what we need to do to the left and to the right of the word clipboard on line 9.
Yep.
We need to put an open and closed HTML tag. So it will treat it as HTML. So, yep. And just HTML. No. That's an A reference, which I understand why you're thinking that, but we need, so replace the A with HTML and then close it. Well, close that part, close. Yeah. And then after clipboard, put the less than / HTML. And then while we're here, if you haven't already done, let's, after line 19, and maybe Jean can chime in. Is it the WB that's the variable that's having the issue with the GUI? So I would just say, add a new line and say WB : equals nothing. Yeah, double quotes. Yeah. And that should, I think that's the one that was causing the issue, that it was trying to reuse the variable for the GUI, and that'll cause a little issue.
No, that didn't work. So let's go and Control C. No, I've made the GUI a little bit bigger down here with 800 and 600, but that shouldn't be an issue.
No, that's fine.
So I've copied that. If I paste that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. On line 9,
the
HTML tags, those need to be surrounded by double quotes. So no, because you can't have the clipboard one. So just add the double quotes to the left and to the right of the HTML part. Yeah.
And there's a slash missing to the second HTML.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I wonder how that disappeared. I know at one point you started typing it. So
I've got a slash where?
Move to the right 1 character. And now there you go. Yeah. And then of course, make sure you have the right content in your clipboard.
There we go. So the answer is, let me save this again, and I'll reload it again just in case. Oh, I've reloaded the wrong script.
Yeah, I've been there.
Reloaded, and no. Do I need to put, I don't need to put percent clipboard because it's colon.
Let's do this. Put a message box after line 9 of HTML. Let's see how it looks. Just FYI, all you have to do, well, you need a percent sign in front of the HTML or wrap it either way. Yeah, that's fine.
That's the message box.
Okay. Bummer. Well, the only other thing I can think is you might need, after the HTML, you might need a body tag, but I don't think so. Like what I displayed, if it's still on yours, I just had plain HTML right there. So I don't know. I'm really surprised that's not working. So to the left, go to the left after the first HTML open tag on line 9. Go over to the left to the opening HTML tag, and then move to the right, just to the up. Go to the right about 8 characters, rough 6 characters. One more. There you go. Now open another tag and call this body. So yep, and then body, and then close it, and then one more. There you go. Yep. It's that's the only thing one of the big peeves I have with you got to reopen the HTML Studio when you're next to and you hit the greater than sign. It thinks you don't want to replace it, so you got to go back in and fix the end of line 9. See how /HTML on the right doesn't have the There you go. I don't think this is going to work, but well,
if you don't try, you'll never know.
It's good to eliminate it as an issue.
No. See, this is where my knowledge is lacking. There's probably a percent sign missing, or something as simple as that, or colon somewhere that's messing things up. Do I need to add a dot to concat here? Do I need to add a dot there?
No, they're optional. They are a good practice, to do it, but it's fine. That was why line 10, I had it just to show us what we're seeing, and it looks proper.
So no, the dot didn't. Okay.
But that's a good, that's how you learn how to test, right? So that's absolutely a good idea to do that kind of stuff. I'm surprised it's not rendering, but maybe there's enough non-HTML characters in that text that's,
to break it.
Yeah, to break it, right. So
if I go back to the original, just to prove that the code's not broken and it's something to do with the HTML, if I reload the script, and what do we need to do? Where is the line that says, don't need that. Where's the line that says clipboard equals? We took it out. Hang on, where's the clipboard? Wasn't there a line here that says that clipboard equals HTML? Or HTML equal, oh, there it is. Yeah, cool. So if we take that one line out and we take this line out and I rerun it, we should get your Automator.
Right.
We should get the original script, but that's not working because it's tagged out. My apologies.
Yeah, this is always the fun of doing stuff live, right?
There you go. So we know the script works. So obviously something in the text is not working. So where do we go from here?
If I can suggest that the HTML that you're trying to render, if you take it and you edit it, for example, you keep just half of it, or maybe it can take some time, but just to find in this HTML, is there a specific place that causes the issue?
To your point, John, sorry for interrupting you. Go, because you're using the clipboard, right? Which I think is a great simple thing. Turn back on line 9, and you can comment out line 8, or you can leave it. It doesn't really matter, right? But go to Jean's point. Go over to your source file and copy just something that has HTML, right? Let's keep it really simple to start. This is another really good best practices of troubleshooting of like, hey, make it as super simple. So just like that one of the image tags.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is
actually, crap, John's right. Now that I look at it, those things are wrapped with brackets.
Correct.
Which I wasn't, like I said, I didn't study it. I just happened to see, a lot of stuff. So
not sure it is HTML.
Right. Unfortunately. So that's
everything that's wrapped in brackets has got an HTTP on it.
Sure, but it does not make it HTML syntax. So these HTTP are links between brackets, but they are not HTML to be rendered.
Right.
So if I'm looking at all the JPEGs, I ignore the JPEGs. So I want anything that's got HTTP or HTTPS at the beginning, but doesn't end up with a JPEG, really. So view and pay invoice, this is the line I'm after.
So that was the other option is, if you're looking for just anything, well, no, because they all have PayPal.
I copied that line and let me run the code. No, it didn't work. Let me reload the.
Yeah, it would have to be enclosed between A brackets to make it a link that would be clickable.
Right.
What you can do once you have this is just run it.
Right.
Just paste it in the run dialog box, and it should open your browser.
Guy, do this for me. Search for payer view in your other file.
I'll do view because pay is PayPal, and that will come up with a lot of.
Right. Well, but I wanted payer view.
There's only 2 views.
Well, but do payer view.
Pay.
All one word. No, see it right where the one's highlighted to the left, payer view.
Okay.
One word. Yeah.
View and pay, or view and pay. Payer view. Okay.
Right. And hopefully it's the only one, because then things suddenly.
It is the only one.
Yeah. Oh, but you're using Notepad. Okay, so it didn't find it. If you hit anyway, so my guess is that payer view, if we look for that and then just get to the right of it, it becomes up to the.
Well, everything pay. There's only one line with payer view.
Right.
So that will ID this particular button for this particular email. But it makes it very specific where it's only if I get PayPal invoices will this be applicable. If I want to create a routine that will say, okay, show me all the links on there that are not images.
Okay. So we have some more work cut out for us in that case. I'm trying to think because I don't know, like John mentioned, we need, which is what you were typing originally in Studio when I said make it HTML. You started on said like A equals href, right?
Yeah.
That's what we need surrounding every one of those links, both opening and closing. So it's going to be, it's not a super.
We can just replace all the brackets.
Well, but we don't know if sometimes maybe there's a bracket that isn't, one of those things.
Let's give it a go. What's the worst going to be?
Well,
we're going to get some gibberish.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, and I'm not knocking the trying of it, right? Is maybe just this time you didn't get any other. So if we don't find any, that doesn't mean it'll always work, right? Because you might get other stuff from someone else, but it's still worth trying.
Okay, so let's basically every open bracket we need to replace with a. Every
So you
closed
just do
bracket.
stir replace. Well, we need the open bracket to be replaced with the left. So stir replace or str. And the haystack will be the clipboard, right? I'm glad you're pretty fluent in this. So now you want to put the double quotes, and Studio is really helping you there. Yeah. So that we're going to replace with the double, right? Space href. No, because we can't close this. This is where it's going to get complicated.
Okay.
href
Okay. Equals. Go on, keep on reading.
Well, but I don't know how. Well, yeah. I mean, all right. And so the next line is going to be. I would just copy Control D. I think maybe that's my hotkey.
F2.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, I changed it. And then change it to the closing. And this is just going to be very good. Yeah.
Does that look good?
No.
No.
You need to close the open A. Then you would have the text that would be displayed that would not be visible in the HTML. So first you need to close right. Yeah, this character, but put it as the first.
Yeah, just the greater than sign at the very beginning. Yeah. So to the left, 4 more. There you go.
And now you need to type something that will be visible because your href will be hidden. So type something like test,
blah,
capital, or something that will be unique.
Yeah.
Link.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
start.
that could work.
It's possible, right?
Have I got it right?
It's close enough to try, right? And we cross our fingers.
Okay, so it's still loaded in clipboard. All I've got to do is reload it and run it. So reload it.
Well, perfect. I don't think we had the right stuff on the clipboard.
I believe I do actually.
Okay.
Oh no, my apologies. This was the clipboard. So
but we want the.
I copied everything.
That's fine. Yeah, and this is where
it didn't like it. It didn't like everything.
Well, why don't you turn back on line 12? Oh,
yeah. So you have many links. So you have to know which link you want to click. So the one after payer,
where there's the text, we've got the links. I think we're nearly there. We need to find out the content of the link, and that would be in the last part of the link.
In the last part of the link.
So if I take something with brackets, let's say this one here, okay, as you can see, this has no .jpeg after it.
Well,
while all the others have a PNG after it.
Yeah. But here's where it's going to become a bit more troublesome, right? Is we need to go line by line and say if we find something. I was going to go off the pair view because that seemed to be unique, and it's a little simpler than saying it doesn't have PNG, right? But regardless, we need to be looping over it and say only do this if there's. Oh, but wait a minute. I'm sorry. Back to which was a really good point. You don't want just a solution for PayPal. You want to be able to take anything you get from your CRM and display it, correct?
Yes. So my thoughts are.
But is it only PayPal that doesn't give you real HTML or?
Well, the problem I've got is this email was issued by PayPal. Okay.
Yeah. So the issue is specific to PayPal.
Yes. Now, in my CRM, This is the only time I've encountered this, because I've been told that the CRM does not render HTML. Okay.
Yeah, but it isn't. Is it the original email from
Yes. This
PayPal?
well, no.
It does not. Has it been changed by your CRM?
Probably. So because I'm writing a bit of code that's specific to this CRM, that other users of this CRM would benefit from in the future, I can go around and say, anything with a image file, I can pass this. Anything with an image file, display the image. And if it has no image file, make it a link to the one beforehand. So give that image file a link. So I'll give you an example. This this particular line here is a link, but the one beforehand, does that have an image associated with it? So there's a number of different links here, but they're not always have the same.
Well, it looks like it has the plain text followed by the hyperlink for the text, right, on the next line.
Yes. Or it has a JPEG followed by the link to the next line. So here, for instance, this might be the text for this link.
Yeah, and that was where I was going with that is. So if the line begins, if it with a bracket,
yep,
right, that needs to, it looks like to some degree, but the problem is, do you just do the first one? Because there's so many for the text that was before it.
We got to handle two different types of line. One line is an image, the other line is a link. Sorry, three types of line: image, link, or text.
Right. However, you have like 8 images after the view and pay invoice is my point.
Correct. So we can just display images, can't we?
Well, you could. I'm just trying to, but getting back to, are we going to associate all of them to the text, or that's just, you're just going to have them next to it? Is that the plan?
Well, let's just do all of them, because if we can do one, we can do it all. So basically display all the images, and if they have a link associated with it, make it clickable.
Well, the other thing interesting is, see where you there's the here's your invoice, and then there's a blank line, and then there's the Churchill gowns and a blank line, and then a 200 receipt and a blank line. And then suddenly, then there's some text that does have hype. So not everything, some of it's just plain text.
Yeah. So
without any hyperlinks.
So you ignore it, you just display it.
Well, but I thought we would want to, like on the view and pay invoice, that is what should be the hyperlink to the thing that follows it. That's not an image.
Okay, so what we do is we've got to parse it and identify whether it's a link or not. And if it's not a link, display it. If it is a link, link it to the previous line.
Yeah, and that's where I would say, so what we need to do is to process the file line by line and look at the first character and actually store. So the first time through, it just, it's getting the content for the next time. And then that way we can compare the next time through. Now we have both, right? Because
so
that's what we need.
Use arrays for the lines.
You could. I wasn't necessarily thinking of an array, but you can still shove it in there. I was just thinking of like a for loop looping over the lines, and then we store, the active line as last line, and then the next time through it, it'll be the active line will, after that. It's kind of hard to describe. It's just easier.
No, I think what you're saying is you identify all the lines that need to be linked.
Well, we just go line by line is my point, right? But the problem is when we find a hyperlink, we need to have the content from the line before is my point. Does that make sense? In order to actually link it, right? So that's why I'm saying is when we start looping over the thing. And so do you have this as a file, or we can just flip over the clipboard? That's fine. Well,
the easiest way is just to grab it from the clipboard. And then you can put it in a file if you wanted to, save it as a file.
No, I was just asking how you were getting it.
At the moment, clipboard.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, I've got to interface with my current CRM. And the easiest way I can do that is select and copy.
Here is, I'll put it in the chat here. This is my default. When I'm going to loop over something, actually, let me.
See, rather than reinventing the wheel, the thought was that you already have library knowledge that I don't have. For me to reinvent all this, yes, you've saved me days of work researching all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to parse HTML-like files, and I'm sure other people will find this very useful too.
Yeah, well, it's you know, it's all baby stepping, working through what we're working on. I just put something in the chat. This is what my default, and I have like 20 other lines, but they're not relevant, so I removed them. But this is my, hey, I need to parse over text, loop over it line by line. So I swapped out the stir split on the clipboard.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, we don't really need the loop object here, but whatever. So I is going to be the index. R is going to be every time you loop over it, that's going to be the new content. Does that make sense? So the first thing I would do, because we need to kind of have a history of what was there. So put like ORIG or last, maybe last is a better one. Last row.
What are you trying to?
On line 41, put last row, line 41.
Okay.
So that's fine.
Row. Yes.
Sure, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and a really critical point is it's whatever makes sense to you, right?
Yeah. The previous row to what you were looking at.
Well, yeah. And so we're going to save that as row, colon equals row. Now,
should there be spaces here?
No, it doesn't matter.
Because this changes color, so I'd never know what.
Yeah. It's one of the things I've talked to Maestrieth about, and he said in order to fix that, it's really complicated.
Okay.
So he hasn't done it. So now, if you go to the hold on. So the next time through, so now go on to the next line, add a return, and do this. Do a message box of, but we need the message box before it. This is where I was getting confused. So there we go. So now do message box space and then a %, because we're going to do multiple variables. Just do 1% in the space, and then say row space A_tab, which is just going to give us a tab. The letter A
tab.
The letter A underscore. No, that's a dash. Yeah, underscore. Yeah, there you go. Tab.
Yeah.
And space, and then previous row. And if you just start typing, it'll fill it in. There you go. Okay.
Should that comma be there?
No, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It'll work fine without it. So do you understand what do you want to, let's copy 4 or 5 lines from your text and let's run this. Oh, well, we actually gotta move it where let's put it at the front of the script because that's where it needs to be.
So pop it right at the front. First thing it does.
Yeah.
S.
Yeah, and then go and copy, or you can just copy some text here. For this example, it doesn't really matter, but it's fine.
If we go down here, and I'll just do I'll copy this text here. Control C. reload this text. I can run it. I've got this U thing up here at the bottom. Can you see? U percent, U accent down here at the bottom where it says show GUI.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll have to ask. The other thing I would do is just, re-download Studio and see if it fixes it.
okay. So HTML test, it got a blank box, and then we've got pay invoice, and then we've got that lot.
So what? So
It's showing
Can
two
you-
lines. It's showing 2 lines at a time.
right. But the first time through, it's basically, it hasn't. Which I guess did you have a blank line? I don't know. I don't understand why the first time through.
And then it does everything. So this is what it's got in front of it. Okay, so let me go to the beginning. Right, this is what I copied. Okay, I started a view and pay invoice, and I copied a bunch of stuff. Yeah, let's go down here and let's do all of this.
Well, right now, we don't need to have a lot, right? It was just to show you that we're basically creating a backup copy of the row. So we have both. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And rather than tab, if I put in there a
new line character if you want.
Yeah. So it'll make more sense. There we go. Yes.
Well, you need to surround it in double quotes.
Yeah. Okay. This is a syntax bit that always fails me. Yeah.
I'd put 2 because trust me, if you're going this route, having 2 really helps. Well, you need the second tick mark. There you go. Now it'll look much better. So the first time through, it only has the 1, right? And then after that, now you have the previous one and the next one. And this is where now we can, look at the following row, so to speak. And actually,
if it's got a JPEG or a PNG to it, then display it.
Well, we want to surround the thing up above.
So this is where we start putting the if statements in there.
So we also need to, and I'm going to throw it in the chat, which I shouldn't have removed it. This is one I have in my default. There it is. So I have a line if, I put it in the chat, if equal I, comma 1, and then it's continue, right? And that just says, you want that up on line 9, not you want it before. So basically that's saying, hey, if the index is the first time through, let's just skip this whole loop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a simple, that's why I love like one-liners. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So now we'll only have 2, every time.
Okay. That went wrong.
But did you copy more of the text again? This is why I like to.
It's still in memory. Yeah, that's working. Yeah.
So this is where, like I said, it's a bit, and we're already into this an hour almost, but we could start to say, hey, if row, because that's the next row, and we could actually, if you want, if it makes more sense to you, we can rename row to be, second row or something, just to help keep it in our heads properly. But we need we would have to do it everywhere. So
okay, that's fine. So we want to.
We don't have to do it, but I'm just saying.
I would call it current row.
Okay, that's fine.
Current and previous.
So just make sure you do it everywhere. And I think there's 3 spots. So, and then on line 10 at the beginning of it, even though we'll probably comment that out there in a minute. In Studio, you can, I think, control click on them and highlight them and type all at the same time, just FYI. It's pretty convenient that way.
Oh, okay.
So you want to grab, yeah, and actually there's a way to highlight, it'll automatically highlight them. So when you're on one, and then you can control click them, the other ones, and it'll say, hey, do all of these.
So control click.
Well, I have to do it myself, but
okay.
Yeah, it's
Was
hard.
I'll
try. Maybe, yeah. But I know there's ways to select the different instances of it.
Okay.
Anyway, so
done.
Yeah, so now to me it's a little more clear what we're working with. So
Yeah.
What we want to do is to say if that first character of the current row, right? So let's start working on after line 9. We need to add a new line.
Surely we're looking for if the last character of the line is a closed bracket.
Well, I was going to do the very first character just because it's super simple, you know. Because if it begins with the bracket, right? That's
skip it. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to see. Do we want to skip it?
No. My thought is the first line. If it's a first line, it's irrelevant. If it's a last line and it's an image, then you display it. If it's not an image, then you link it to the previous line. And if it's neither, if it doesn't have a bracket, just print it, ignore it. You've got 3 options. Plain text line, just print the text. It's a JPEG, display the text. Or it's a text or a JPEG that has a link to it in the current row. So if the current row is a link and not a JPEG or a text, then you've got to take action. If the current row doesn't end with a new line or a closed bracket on its own, then you need to take action of linking the 2 together.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just don't understand why you're talking about the end of the line instead of the beginning of the line.
Because the end of the line signifies whether it's a .jpeg or not.
No, it doesn't. Go back. I mean, they both have brackets around them, right?
Correct. But how do I know the beginning of the line whether it's going to be a link or a JPEG?
Well, but right now I'm just saying is we're going to first discover if they're hyperlinks or a P, you know, if they're the plain text, but whatever. If you want to look at the last 4 characters of the line, we can do that.
Well, if we treat, because whether they're a plain text or a JPEG, we have to treat them the same. We're just seeing if there's a hyperlink on the next line. And if there is, we've got to build the HTML line that connects the 2 together. Am I thinking wrongly?
Well, but that's my point is that, again, whether it's a JPEG, well, or a PNG, where is the regular hyperlink? So, or the ones without the
there.
Yeah, that all of those we're doing something with, right?
Yeah, we're making them links to the line above.
Well, so I think what we want to do is to say whether it's, and this is where it's going to be very problematic, of whether it's a JPEG or a PNG or God only knows what other images, you know, file formats that might be there. Right?
Well, a JPEG, PNG, what else would there be there? They all end up with G closed brackets. So if you could say if the last 2 characters of the line are not G closed brackets, then it's a link.
Oh boy,
it'll be rough.
You know what? For now, it's fine. Right.
It'll be rough. It'll work for 99% of the time.
Well, I mean, BMPs don't end in a G. I mean, then there's, a dozen others, but whatever. I mean, for now, let's go with what we got, right?
I mean, we can expand that if statement to make it more inclusive.
Right. So let me see here. We need to use the in string and grab, well, or a regular expression, but get the last characters to the right.
Let's say if we grab the last 4 characters, then we can later on do another loop to see if they match anything else.
So I'll put something in the chat.
Okay.
And actually, I'll try to be better of this, and it's not exactly what we need, but I'm trying to go to the YouTube also and share it there. This is going to isolate, I think, the last character on the right, if I remember correctly. So just do a message box, change var to maybe, I'm trying to remember, do we want current row or do we want, we want previous row, don't we?
Put
So
marker or flag or whatever. Marker.
Well, right now we're just going to do a message box. I mean, you can store it if you want. That's fine. But we want to, right after that, display it.
Yeah. So we want the marker for the current row. Okay. So marker. Comma.
Then var needs to get changed to. Okay.
Yeah. And how many are we looking at? We're looking at, is it 4 characters?
So yeah, go for it. Change it to 4 and let's see what we got.
Which one am I changing? The string position or the last one, the -1?
I think the starting position, which is where you are. The -1. Oh, actually, maybe it's -4. Sorry. So that's, no, I think that's going to be screwy, but does anyone have any thoughts? I don't use it a lot.
Is it right string? It would have been right string, but hasn't that been discontinued?
I don't use it. So apparently.
Trim right.
Yeah, but we're not trimming. Trim will just remove it.
Yeah, for the marker, it's fine. Just the marker.
Well, we don't want to. I'm trying to isolate the characters on the far right.
Well, if we just have the marker equal to the last 4 characters, and then if the marker is true, then.
Well, just go ahead and here's what I always do. Just run it, right? Copy some text and let's see what it has.
There's the text. Let's copy some text. Let's see. Okay, there's no markers there. No markers there. Markers blank.
So let's change. This is why we got to test it, right? So let's change either the 1 or the -4.
Correct.
One of those two things.
Well, this is where I would do search for auto hotkey and auto hotkey.
I think it's just simpler just to change the 1 or the 4.
Here we go. Depreciated use. There we go. So start position and length, return the value. So where are we? We're here somewhere. Returns the lazy dog. So it's just -7 by the looks of it, -4.
So I think, yeah, the thing was we had the 1 in there.
I think that would work. Yeah, that works. That works. So if we could say if marker is not equal to JPEG, or the last 4 characters, then build the next line as a link.
Yeah, let's see a real world. I mean, did you have more copied? I want to see when it is an image. There we go.
You go. It works. There you go. It's figured out that on this particular occasion, the marker is a .jpeg, and it's a picture, and then the next one is going to be the link for it. So if you capture this particular scenario, then build an HTML line that contains, like you did for your script, it contains this lot here, basically. Yeah.
Well, you would wrap. Well, we need to remove the bracket and then wrap it with the href equals.
Correct. So what we're doing is we'll have to start with HTML equals blank, and line by line build up the string of HTML and adding a line at the bottom each time.
No, we're just gonna. All we'll do is swap out that line. After it's done, we'll have, then we wrap the whole thing.
Okay.
Right. I mean, that's just the easier approach.
So down is if marker is equal to.
Well, here's the thing, and actually go ahead and finish the way you're doing it, and then I'll make a suggestion that you might like or might not.
if marker is equal to JPG.
Well, and here's where what you said, right? Why don't we just change it to the back minus 2?
Yeah.
If it's PG, or was it?
Yeah, no, it's it'll be G.
Yeah. Does that do it for you? Right.
Yeah. So are we looking to capture the link, aren't we? So if marker does not, so when can it be a link? When it's not equal to that? Are we searching for the links? Or are we searching for the non-links?
I was going to take care of the pictures, because that's right. Now you're saying if it equals that. The other thing I would do, I think it's just good practice, is put paren after the if between the marker. No, on line 12 where you have marker equals. So surround that part with parens. Yeah, it forces it to say, undo. And change it to parens instead of the curly braces.
Yeah.
And that way it just forces it, because I've had it where, and I can't put my finger on why, but sometimes, it doesn't end up, it breaks, and it's really annoying. Okay. So now we're saying, hey, if marker equals that, then we're gonna take the current row. Well, and we have to remove the bracket, the first, actually, if we can use, let's see if we can use substring to start at line 2 and to go to -1. Wouldn't that be, so just do a message box on line 14.
Yeah.
Space %, and then sub str left bracket current row, comma 2, because we want to skip the first character, and -1 because we want to get everything up to the second to last character, right? So let's give this a whirl. Go ahead and select something that has an image.
We want to skip the first character. That's correct, but not 2. We want to skip the curly. We want to skip the bracket. We don't want to skip the.
Yeah, isn't the first character a bracket?
Oh, we start at, okay, we were starting at position 2. That's correct.
Right. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Okay, and the length, I'm confused about that, but okay.
Well, that says go all the way to the end, except for go back 1 character from the very end.
Okay, that works for me. So we've got that. So now it should strip.
Right.
Okay, so let's run that.
Yeah. in for all intents and purposes, it should quote unquote strip, but we're not actually stripping, right? We're grabbing from inside there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to be a little more accurate of exactly what's going on. So we're isolating what we're grabbing.
I'm just putting a single instant force.
Yeah,
in
sure.
here.
Yeah.
I think it's right. Okay. So if we run that, right. It's not encountered a G yet. It's not encountered a G yet. It's encountered, no, it's encountered a G in the previous row. It's going to skip out. There we go. It's encountered a G.
Now, which one?
The next should be the next message.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not working.
So what I like to do is here, yeah, I think you're perfect. That's exactly what I love doing. And make a space there after the trapped or trapped. Yeah.
Sorry. So
but add a space.
It got caught in the trap, you know.
Yeah. Right. Add a space after the D before the double quote. Otherwise, you're going to have the text right next to it. Yeah, there you go. That'll just be easier to read. That's exactly how I like to troubleshoot, is to that way I know which message box I'm in, right? Otherwise, it gets very confusing.
Where have these A's come from? We have no traps at all.
The other thing I would do is add a return on line 21, just because we don't need to get down to that. Yeah, and I'm glad to see that was the problem. Is it's not that we've necessarily gone wrong on line 15. It's that for whatever reason it's not finding it.
Now, is it case specific?
Where it shouldn't be. Where is our
on line 13?
Yes. No, it's not. No, that won't be case specific. Line 13, right? John, are you still there?
No, we've lost John.
Oh, bummer. Or anyone, for that matter.
No, I think we've lost everybody.
Oh, no, we got Matthew's here and Ollie's here.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm somebody. I'm here.
Oh, you're good. Good. I thought we lost you.
No, you hadn't lost me.
Okay. No, thank you for your patience.
But let's
absolutely. No, this is great to hear other people's stuff. I very rarely get the opportunity to see in detail what other people are dealing with. So this has been great.
Yeah.
If I do that, does this make sense, by the way, from a
programmatic wise, it's fine, but it shouldn't matter.
Okay. But if you just made that work. Okay, control all this lot and run it. Right. See, that should come up. I know what's happening. The marker is, it's 4 characters it's looking for, isn't it?
Well, it's got a PG.
Exactly. We need star.g, not.
Well, no, we don't. We just need it to be G. We're going back.
So the marker's too long.
Somehow.
So we need to go -1 on the marker or -3.
Just do 1 and try it.
There we go.
There we go.
That worked.
Yep. Oh, and the trap.
Go trapped.
Yep. And look at that. It's although, wait a minute, at the beginning we still have the beginning bracket, but not the ending bracket. If I was reading that right. But why did that one? Oh, that's not trapped. Okay.
That's trapped.
Yeah, but see the beginning bracket's still there.
Current row, because we put -1. Oh, let's turn that to 1 or 3. 3.
3. Yeah.
I think your recording thing, you need to do something about it.
What's that?
Okay, trapped. There we go. It's gone.
No, it's not.
Trapped it is. There we go.
There it is. Okay, sorry. On the, I swear I saw it on that other one. Oh, maybe
It wasn't trapped. It was just the line.
Okay.
It wasn't the trap. So that's the line, and that's the trap.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. So now
Okay.
we have that isolated. Now we can actually, you can get rid of the trapped. Let's go ahead and replace your trapped with the open. I mean, why not? Well, actually, let's do it up above to make sense. So under marker on line 11, let's go ahead and to the right of the colon equals.
Yeah.
Or wait, I'm sorry. Where's, yeah. Marker is what's getting pulled, right? No,
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Sorry. It's on line 17. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, my bad. So,
Now we're going to combine or decide whether to combine two rows to make a link or not.
well, right now we're doing the pictures, right? Which are just going to be a picture.
Correct?
So we just want to change trapped to the less than sign a. Oh, you keep that double. We want the double quotes. We're adding text, so we want to keep that in double quotes.
HFRF, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. And then to the right, yeah, we got to close it.
Do we have the word link or not?
No,
That's-
we don't want it. No. Right.
Okay. That'll be for the next one.
Well, hopefully for the next one, we're going to actually insert the real text. That's why we store.
Exactly. Yeah. So that will deal with an image, correct?
Well, let's take a look. Let's run it and make sure. This is where I also encourage people, like, don't make too many changes at once, because then something gets screwed up and you're on the wrong thing, and it's really, a pain.
Okay. We're waiting for trapped. No, we're not. Okay, here we go. It's put. I
we
don't
have
know
a new
whether
line.
this is a wrap or whether it's.
Yeah, good point. I hate message boxes for that reason.
But I assume that it's okay.
Right.
Okay.
I agree. Now, actually last week, I think it was last week, someone mentioned this, but I thought the double quotes had to be there, but apparently in HTML, you don't need the double quotes around the link. So that should be fine.
But we're building a string here. So it's needed for the string.
I'm talking about the HTML we're generating.
Correct. But there's no double quotes in the HTML we're generating. Look.
That's my point. I'm saying is I thought you had to have href equals double quote HTTPS, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
But apparently someone said that's not, you don't have to have the double quotes. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I think we're okay.
Okay. Let's carry on. We're nearly there.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but we're making progress at least. So we need a whole different one now, because we go ahead and lose that message box at the beginning part of line 17, because we just want it to do that now, right? And you can lose the message box part on line 13.
But we need a variable, or we need to assign this to something.
Well, yeah, fair enough. So I don't know if we can assign it to current row. I think we can. So that should equal current row, because and then let's do a message. So let's go ahead and do a message box after it. So current row colon equals on the far left. Yeah, all right. With Studio, because it auto assists in you typing, normally I would be like you and copy and paste because I suck at typing. However, with Studio, because it auto assists you, I go ahead and start typing and then, hit enter to borrow.
I'm still learning how to use Studio, and the more
Yeah,
I
no,
watch you, see, here's the thing. I learned how to use Studio by watching you do live stuff.
Right.
So hopefully other people are learning exactly the same way from here.
Yeah, it's a great tool. So let's go ahead and add a message box on line 17 to display current row, just to make sure that it will update. I'm pretty sure it does, because that's just a variable.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
The question is what to do with it. If I Control S for save, Alt R for run it, it reloads it, and then I can activate it and nothing happens. I've got to reload it here, and then nothing happens. Control C. There we go. There, it's fine. Look.
Yep. Good. So what's awesome is now we've updated the current row only if it's hopefully a picture, right? So we want a whole nother block of code that says, okay, if the last character, I guess we could use an else. If the last character is still a bracket, right? Because we don't know how an HTML hyperlink is going to be, because it could end in virtually anything other than, we just want to say if it still ends in a bracket, right?
If it ends in a bracket, it's a picture or a link.
Well,
if it doesn't end up in the bracket, it could be text to be linked.
Right, and that's why we want to else. So if it ends in a G bracket, that's that, and then we'll say else, and we still need to check to see it's a bracket, right? But this way, if we didn't use the else, it would apply it also to the picture, which we don't want.
If marker equals,
well,
it's not bracket. It could be anything but bracket. Can we put a wildcard in there?
No, not with using like this. We'd have to use like a regular expression, and that's what I could say is an in string. But and that's where we just want the last. So we'll just use the substring to say the last character.
-2, -0.
I was sure. I don't know what that's going to do. No, minus. What is the -1?
-1. Sorry.
That's the last character, right?
That's the last character. No, that's the last 4 characters.
No, I can guarantee you -1 is not the last 4 characters. Because see, you're starting on line 16. You're starting
the marker that's been coming up with that setting has been the last 2 characters.
Yeah, well, but you have current row here in your example. So what are you going to use on
Previous
line 20
row.
In substring? Are you going to use current row or are you going to use marker?
Marker. Okay, so if it's a colon.
Well, and help do it, because this is where I get confused. Wrap that marker colon equals. And wrap that with the parens, just because, and it's weird for me when I see the parens, it helps me understand what I'm actually comparing. And let's just display it.
So here's the thing: if it's got a G and a square bracket, it'll wrap it. If it doesn't have a G and a square bracket, but it's only got a square bracket, what do we want it to do?
Yeah, for now, let's just display it just to make sure we, so just display current row, right? Because we should and actually put some text that says link, hyperlink. What are you?
Just making some space to do stuff.
But either to the left or the right of that, put in some text, surrounded by double quotes. It says like hyperlink or link or whatever. So just so we know where we are, right? And it takes practice, but once you get used to Studio adding the 2 double quotes, if you highlight the word and hit double quote, it'll wrap it for you.
I've been using Studio for the last 6 months or so.
Okay.
It's one of these things. Okay, so we're there.
A while to get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's save it, reload it. We go to running, Control C, Control V. Hyperlink. Here we go. That looks good to me.
Oh, but no, that's not a hyperlink. Right? Or, oh, I'm sorry. Did you have the previous one in there too? Let's get back. So that's an image, right? Or is that a hyperlink?
So both of that's an image. The marker is G bracket. Yes.
Yeah.
And this one is just a hyperlink. Here we go. Equals. That's not a hyperlink.
Well, that's why I was asking you, right?
It's not a hyperlink. It's coming up with a JPEG.
Right. So there's something wrong with our logic there. Let's display. Let's store that value, the substring marker, comma -1. Store that in something, and let's see what it is. And you actually don't even have to store it. You can just copy it and go to the end of that line, or do it that way. That's fine. That's fine. Well,
there we go.
Yeah, I'd add a space after the new marker, just because it just looks crappy. Awesome. Yeah, and
you see, I'm learning.
Well, and just FYI, you could put those right at the beginning of the word hyperlink, but anyway, you've already taken care of it, so it's fine. I think that was your other,
Yeah.
See, this is where adding a hotkey to reload the script is really helpful.
I've got one. If that window's open, it'll reload and etc. I've got it on my other script.
Yeah, but this is where having one. See, I have a special one for the scripts that I'm troubleshooting, and that's where I put it. Right, is like, hey, that way, it makes it simple for me working on something.
It's the new marker is not. The -1 isn't that. We need to go maybe. I want the last character, not the one before the last. So substring marker 0 for the last character.
I guess give that a try.
No, comma.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, we need a comma. I think we need a comma there.
I get your point. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we need a comma there.
I might break it. Let's see.
I think that will.
Yeah. See, it needs. Didn't it have an error there? I think I thought I had an error. See, I think we need a digit, but we'll know the number of digits, right? So started at like would it be 2?
It's not running.
Yeah, it's having an error because you can't have a blank starting point. So give it like a 2. I don't think 0 is a valid. I think 1 is the first, point. It's not a 0 index thing.
Okay. There we go. Ah, now it's -1. We should have position. Can you see it says new marker is -1. We are looking at the one before the last. We need the last. Length. Return value. We need the last string, -7. Lazy dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B, C. Give us a. Okay, I want 1 there. I only need 1 character returned. And I need it on the last character. I'm thinking that it should be just 1.
Well, that's going to start at the first character.
Starting position. Length.
The length, the minus tells it to start from the right and go backwards.
Okay, well, -1 didn't work. -0?
No, I think we just had to change where we're starting at. I think we were starting too far to the left. So maybe it's 2, -1.
2? I'm confused.
Yeah, just repeat that on line 20 and let's see what it does. I'm more of a, try something quickly and look at it and then adjust than I am to read the actual things. And, after a couple minutes, if it doesn't work, then I will go and read.
Right, new marker now is blank.
Perfect.
No, we want new marker to be close bracket.
Well, what actually, do me a favor and what is new marker?
New marker
what's in?
Well, it's nothing. It's not displaying it.
No. Well, you're doing this. I'm saying what literally is in the new marker.
That.
No,
that is the new marker.
No, what I'm saying is, what is the actual text in marker?
That or that gets trapped. Anything but that. So if this gets trapped, it gets dealt with. If it doesn't get trapped, it looks to see, well, if it didn't have a G close bracket, does it have just a closed bracket on its own?
Yeah, but we don't know at this point. Just do me a favor and add to the left of new marker. Yeah, just put marker on the left of that. I want to see what text is there. In a space. And then just run it. Yep. I wonder why your output window doesn't clear itself. That's weird. So it's just G bracket.
Yeah. We're just looking for the bracket. The thing is only 2 characters long. So if you start at position 2.
Yeah, that should be the bracket. Oh, just so we don't need to go -1. Just start at position 2.
And return one character, correct?
Well, we don't have to say, it doesn't matter, but you can if you like. It'll be 1 character. Right. But either way.
There we go. Result. That did it.
And is it properly? So our hyperlink is actually
Correct.
when it says hyperlink, it is a hyperlink.
Yeah, look at it. href equals da 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 da.
Well,
It's
I'm
a
just saying,
JPEG.
like,
It's a JPEG.
that's why I'm asking you, right? Is
It's picking up. It's picking up. When does this happen? It's picking up everything.
wait, change line 20. 20 is else. Shouldn't it be
Yes.
a else if?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why we were just saying, hey, otherwise do this, but it's always doing that.
Else if. Yep. No. Have I got the syntax of else if correct?
Well, no, else if isn't one word, is it?
That's what I'm asking. It looks like it is.
I think that's a command. I could be wrong. Let me.
Else if. There we go. Save it. Run it. We're not getting any hyperlinks.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to run here. But it is like I said, it's getting close.
No, that else if is not firing at all. Ah, here we go. Yes, it's found it.
Oh, good.
That's a proper hyperlink.
So now you want to replace the new row is what we're working, or current row, sorry, with the kind of like what you did up above on line 16, right? The a href colon equals, right? Because we don't have that.
Now, we want to replace it with a hyperlink.
Yeah, here's where, and I'm
with the previous row.
Well, with the hyperlink will be the previous row, but then we want to, we were going to add to it. Wait, what are you doing there?
I am copying the format of your text.
No, I wouldn't worry about that. It's simple. What we're going to do, right, is to go after go to the right of that. Keep going after that. Keep going. There you go. Left, left, left. More. There you go. Add some spaces in here. So all right. So we need to add a double quote. And then the greater than sign. And another double quote. Okay, good. Just one, the space. Now here is where we want the
previous row.
Right. Yes. Right. Yeah, and now I think we're good. So let's take a look at what that does.
So if I take that and put that there, and then in my message box, we've got the proper hyperlink now, and run it. Right. So this is just a bunch of pictures. This is just text. Now it's found the hyperlink.
Yeah, and
It's put
yeah,
it all together.
I see at the end of the greater than and then the view and pay invoice.
Yeah.
That'll be your text that is hyperlinked. Right. I think that's proper.
Correct. Okay. So how do we display the result?
Well, we're gonna repurpose. Let's first get rid of some of the other, like the message box stuff, right? Because we don't want to go over line by line on everything to be displaying in a message box.
So we don't need to display the current row.
Yeah,
we just want the hyperlinks.
Yep.
Okay. What's next?
You can comment that one out as well, right? Because that's just displaying it, right?
Yeah.
And line 13, I don't think we need. And then line 29. And now what we're going to have to do, let's see. So now we want to actually continue on. The question is,
are we actually replacing stuff in the clipboard?
Well, that's what I'm trying to look at in my head here of like, okay,
we're analyzing the clipboard, but somewhere we've got to do HTML equals current row.
Well, we need to
plus
store
HTML equals HTML plus current row.
Yeah, we need to start creating a whole new variable that decides
and
has
building
that
it up line by line.
Yeah, right.
So if we call that variable HTML and we add line by line to it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand. I think we'd be adding the current row at line like 27.
Yeah.
Or well, actually maybe before 27, because we want to, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Never mind. Because we don't actually change current row. We're setting previous row. So that's where you can take HTML dot equals. Nope. Dot equals. We want to append. That's appending. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And just to keep it similar, let's do a new line because we've stripped those out, right? So current row, but I would put, or you can put it in the back if you want. You can do a space and double quotes and a tick mark R. So that's going to add a line return, right? Because HTML doesn't need them, but as humans, it's nice to have those.
Okay.
Now on line 29, this is building up everything. Oh, and actually, never mind, because you already, so comment out line 30.
Hang on.
No. Undo. Just because you're bear with me here. Line 33, you already do that, if that's what you're doing, right?
I'm just cleaning it out. I'm just making sure that it's empty.
Okay, you can do that if you like. It doesn't, I mean, it's new, so it won't have anything. It's not like your clipboard.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I start with empty variable.
But it will.
Okay.
It will by default. But
okay.
And so what we need is on line 33 to change where clipboard is used to HTML. And then comment out 34 and 35 because those now are debunked. They're no longer used at all. And I think I would give that a whirl. And 31 needs to disappear. Ooh, interesting. Well, it's close.
It's close.
It's close.
We need to add a line return. We need some more line returns in there.
Yeah. Like so actually let's add them after, just to clarify, after the ending of the A tags, just to help it in there. So move left one and then add the tick mark R on that and also on line 17. Now, I don't think this is going to fix everything, but it's at least a start.
didn't really do much. Let's reload it.
Oops.
No, it didn't do much. We need to add it to the lines that are.
You know what? That we're not affecting.
That's right.
So just add it at the line. Let's see. Well, no, see, I thought that's what we were. Add 2 there. See what happened. Because that's on everything, right? The current row. Yeah, the current row.
Well, the current row gets replaced if it doesn't find these variables.
Yeah,
otherwise the current row is the current row, right?
Right.
So do I put in tick R or tick RN?
Don't. I wouldn't mess with that. Leave that there.
No, but I'm saying should this be a double R or an N in there?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, for Windows, generally speaking, you want tick mark R, tick mark N, but that'll still just be one line. So the double tick mark R, I just give that a try.
Okay.
That'll be 2 lines. Let's just see what it does. But even then, for the HTML,
didn't do a difference. Do I have to put a dot here?
No.
Would it hurt?
No.
Control.
Oh, wait. Did you have tick mark R, tick mark N, or did you just change that?
I've just changed that.
Okay.
That didn't do a difference. It's like nothing's happened. Reload script. If I put in there line, is that?
Well, you don't want the % signs because if you want it as a variable.
Does that make sense?
I don't know what you're trying to do, but
Putting line numbers in there.
well, I mean, you can do it.
And then we know if it's an issue with. No, yes, he goes. Here we go. Why are the lines appearing at the beginning? That's fine. So it is working, but it's stripping out the ends.
Oh no, I know what's going on. Go back to we're putting in new line. We need to put in a HTML new line. So it's hold on. I have a hot string for it. I can never remember exactly what it is, but so it just instead of doing the and wrap that in double quotes, but instead of doing the tick mark R tick mark N, use the less than BR bracket. That'll be like a line return in HTML.
Do I need to wrap it?
You need to have it in double quotes, if that's what you mean.
No, I need to wrap the current row with a begin line, end line.
You don't need a big. It's HTML. It's not like the other stuff. So
no, do I need to put a BR at the beginning and a /BR at the end?
No, because it's one of those weird HTML tags where it doesn't have an opening. So, but just put if you see what I gave you. Oh, there's a backslash after the R.
There.
Yeah, and I think you should add them. Well, anyway, let's try that first. Because it's rendering, that other thing is an ActiveX object. It's rendering HTML. Rendering. So yeah, that's why HTML new lines or blank lines that we were using are meaningless. I should have realized that earlier, but when you're not programming, it's really different in how you do things don't pop like, there we go. like they normally would.
Okay, that looks good. Number one is I need a scroll on this window. And number two, it's highlighting the stuff that's not a link, and it's not displaying the pictures.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I'm out of time.
Okay.
But I think you got a lot of, a good jump on it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll figure out how to capture the G's and add them in to append to turn them into, because at the moment we've just
see what I would do is, and do you use, actually no, because hold on. Let me borrow what I just put into the chat.
Mm-hmm.
If we can use that debug, I think Maestria said that's not actually distributed in Studio by default, which I don't know why, but
I'm looking for your stuff. I'm looking for the chat window. There's a chat window, debug window. What is it? Where do I put it?
Just put it anywhere instead of just put it somewhere. I need to go back to your code. I can't see it. So
yeah.
After like on line 30, and then change the variable text, change that to HTML, which at least for this purpose, it'll be fine. You might want to move it after line 34, but let's just see if it'll even run, because I don't know if you get that debug.
Okay, we saved it. We reload the script. We copy it. And then we run it. I've got a blank.
So now move that bottom window up a bit. Yep, there you go. So, and then scroll up inside there.
Can't, nothing.
Oh, well, that's fine, but it's I mean, at least it's working. What I don't understand is why HTML was, we're outside the loop. I would move that after line 34, but even then I don't understand, and just rerun it. So I love using that debug window as a way to display what in the world.
No, unless let's see, there's nothing in the clipboard. Are
you trying to copy it? What are you?
No, I'm just saying what's in the clipboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what I've got. I've got nothing in the clipboard for it to read.
Oh, well,
so Control A, Control C.
This is why I don't like using the clipboard. When I'm building scripts, I hard code that somewhere or save it as a file and read it, and then I don't have to keep updating my clipboard.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so we've got it in the clipboard. Reload the script. We know that we've got that. Control C. We'll go back into the code. We're looking at the debug window. We've rerun it. Let's rerun it. There we go.
So now below here, you can take a look at the HTML, right? And you can see, like, actually, I saw one HTTP. It looked like it replaced the H in the HTTPS. It was very weird. There was no H.
The PayPal is gone here.
Yeah, we're losing a character. So, like I said, we got some more work to do as far as exactly what we're grabbing, but it's just a little bit of paying very close attention. Go and change one thing and see what updated.
Well, here's a summary of what I've learned today. I've learned that my way is similar to your way in terms of the logic, but you tend to do it in smaller increments. It helps so much. Yeah. Now, I've learned how to use a debug. I've learned how to use Studio a little bit better. Yep. And if you call this an exercise, I think irrespective of the actual mission, I've learned so much in the way of using things, you know, where to put the colons, you know, where not to put the colons. That
Right. Yeah. It's just practice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to clarify, just to clarify one thing you said, this debug window, I use it pretty much just to display text. It actually Studio has a great debugging functionality. I just don't want to get you thinking like it's really using, you're displaying the thing in the debug window, but we're not really debugging in that sense. Of that.
Do you have a video of how to use the debug functionality?
I do. Yes.
Can you drop that in the comments somewhere?
Yeah, I can try to find it.
Because, you know, to be able to see what the variables are doing and, you know, stepping things line by line would be really useful.
Yeah, 100% agree. Are you on the newsletter?
Yes.
But it's in the newsletter that went out yesterday. But that's the video. Awesome. Debugging is it with everything we did. Using a message box was fine, but when you start doing more advanced stuff, being able to step through things and do stuff, it really does help.
Awesome.
Welcome to SmartSheet, the new world of
lovely. Okay, so bottom line is thank you.
You bet. It's fun diving in. I'm glad we were able to, you know, make some progress there. Thanks for everyone hanging out.
It proves that something that I thought was going to be really, really simple and pick up an off-the-shelf solution was just as much work for you as it was for me. Yeah,
you know, honestly, like I'll see like Maestriath or Tank from the forum or Raptor X, who normally works for me, and I'm like, oh, they're so good. But then we'll get into stuff, and it's like it really does. It takes time, even when you're really good. It takes time.
Awesome. So, and the thing I love about auto hotkey is that I'm not a coder. That's not my profession.
Right.
I don't know any other languages.
I 100% agree in the sense of because I'm not either. You know, I don't have a programming background, and I've done amazing stuff. Which is also when we first started, I mentioned PayPal has an API, and so an API web service you can connect to and ping and do amazing stuff with, and it's programmatic and really fast, and it's I've used it for my businesses, and it's really cool. But that's a whole nother level of like, oh crap, you know, a lot more to learn, but good stuff.
Well, thank you very much for this help, and if you ever need some advice on photography, give me a shout. I'll be happy to help.
You bet, man.